Today I'm going to talk about how to use Nuxt.3 today. I'm Sebastien Chopin, I think you know. We'll go straight to the point. It's been 42 days after Nuxt.3 public beta. So far, 380 merge pull requests, including more than 100 documentation updates, 38 improvements and features, and a lot of bug fixes and stability improvements. What does it mean? This means improved ECMAScript stability. ECMAScript is currently a pain in the ass, but it's for the better. And it started with Vite, and it will take a bit of time for the modules to upgrade to the latest ECMAScript syntax. We added a concept in the documentation for you to understand what it is to be moving to ECMAScript. We are pushing this zero config TypeScript experience. Nuxt is generating this tsconfig.json as well as the types, so you don't have to, you can start writing .ts file without having to worry. Post-CSS support that landed also in Vite. Auto import of composable, this is one of my favorite features, and it is pushing more and more the composition API. And you simply have to create a file, and where you will use this composable, it will automatically import it. Same for the components, and same for the plugins too. And improvement regarding the Nuxt CLI, which is called Nuxi. We choose another name so you can install it with minimum dependency, if not zero dependency, instead of the Nuxt package, which is much bigger. So it's faster to bootstrap project and run Nuxt commands. Let's try to slow down. UseState composable, which is awesome. It is like the SSR ref, so you can load some data from SSR, set the value inside, and it won't be computed again on client side to handle the hydration process. I will make an example right after. We have this use cookie composable that Puya just released yesterday evening, and is really useful to manage sessions. The HTML component that is linked to the head component allow you to set the page meta tags without having to use the composable. It is quite useful in some cases. Client-only component just landed. If you use it in Nuxt, it's quite similar. And JSX support for the React fan. Let's code. I don't have so much time, and the demo I want to do, I think, is it's not that easy. So what do I have here? I want to create a project, so you guys can write me a message. That's simple. I want to add this authentication with a GitHub app. So for this, I created a GitHub application where I will fill in my .env the client ID, the client secret, and I want it to be real time. So in that case, I'm using Pipedrive, and I created a workflow that is adding a hook on my repository and exposing a server-sent event endpoint. Everything is explained in the README to set up. And let's look at the dependencies. We have Nuxt.3. We have Uno CSS from Anthony Fu that you may know, as well as Iconify to automatically load icons. And Vue because it's such a wonderful libraries. It's like the Lodash for the web apps that I'm going to use just in one example. And I think that's it. We have our app.vue, and this is simply using app container, which is only for style here. The source code of this demo is available on @linux/discuss, but not the final one yet. And yeah, we have a use meta that allow me to set the title of the page. And I think we are ready to get started. What I want to do first is add this login using GitHub. So for that, let's make a button. And add click will be a login with GitHub and class. By the way, I'm actually live, so everything can go wrong. I will just escape and close this window. So that's the login with GitHub button, but I need a login. So what I've done also to save some time, because I was expecting to not finish the demo in time, is I created this composable called use GitHub that is using the runtime config. So what is the runtime config? The runtime config is an object you can define in the Nuxt.config, and basically you want to pass environment variables through it so you can access it in your app. What is defined as public will be leaked, let's say leaked into the app, so don't share any secret here, otherwise you should use private runtime config. So I'm exposing the client ID, issue server-sent event endpoint, and I'm using the Uno CSS module, which is like Tailwind with the CSS, but better. And I have this composable. I'm getting the GitHub client ID, which is set in my .env, and I'm using useState here that I'm going to show you right after. And basically, I have a login method, which is doing a location replace to this URL. So let's see. Let's get the login from my use GitHub. Since inside the composable directory, it should work. And nice, I have been redirected and I have a code. So I can already enter this authentication. But just before, let's try to understand what useState is doing quickly. So if I have a useState counter, const, and I say the default value will be mat.random, and I want to display it here. What you see is when I refresh the page, so obviously we are using Nuxt, everything is server rendered by default. And if I look at this window underscore Nuxt, I can see that in my state, the counter has been set as well as the GitHub token, which is used in use GitHub. This is great to give data from the SSR to the client side without having to make a call again on client side. So that's why we have this useState GitHub token. And on the server, we try to read the GitHub token cookie. So what I need to do now is create this API endpoint, get this code, send it to GitHub so it can give me an access token, and I can store it to this cookie. So how to create an API endpoint in Nuxt? No one? Okay. I feel that I'm going to be alone on this call. Server, I'm creating a server directory, and then an API directory, and everything will be inside will be matched like with the pages directory. We don't support dynamic root yet. And for this /github/callback.ts. Personally, I'm not that good in TypeScript, but I trust the framework team that automatically generate the TS config for us. And I don't have to set up TypeScript. This is a joy. But I can benefit the typing and the auto-completion. So this is a normal node handler, but you won't have access to reg.query because this reg.query comes from Express. And we are using H3, which is a Node.js server built for speed and be able to run everywhere and not only Node.js environment. And let's see what does this. We have undefined. So how can I get the query? I don't want to parse the URL manually here. So I'm going to import helpers we define in H3. We are working on a way to automatically import this, to auto-import this composable. Once you use it in the server directory, it will come pretty soon. And then let's see if I can get my code using use query. I'll expect reg console log code. And I have it. Great. So if I don't have a code, I want to redirect the user, and I have a send redirect method. So I will return redirect. I have to give the request, the response, thanks TypeScript, and the URL. Let's try, if I don't give a code, I'm redirected. Great. It's not done yet. Now what I want to do is verify this token. So for this, const response equal await $fetch, which is better than using fetch. It will automatically return the body, and much more improvement. You can look at how my fetch on npm. And I need this URL endpoint that I keep forgetting. And here we go. So I need to call this endpoint with the post method. And I need to give the body. And thanks GitHub Copilot, it will help me fill. I need to get the client secret, client ID, and code. And let's console.log the response we have so far. I have the access token, great. And if I refresh, I got an error because the code has been already passed. So let's start with response.error first. And we do the same, we redirect. It's a demo, so we don't have to be perfect. Otherwise, I will simply set my cookie. And thank you again for H3. We are going to document all of these helpers, obviously. I will set the cookie, expecting res. Let's name it GitHub_token, response access token. This is nice. And something particular here is I want to set the path to the root. Otherwise, the cookie will be set only for this current root and not accessible from the main root. So by doing this, I make sure that the cookie can be read everywhere. And I want to set the cookie as HTTP only. And finally, I will also redirect to slash. Let's look at our cookie. I want to make sure I have nothing first. I'm logging in. I have my cookie. It's HTTP only. And why do I do this? Because in case if I have an XSS issue, people won't be able to store your GitHub token. So that is fixed like this. Let's go back to our app. And if we look at our composable here, it is reading the used cookie. And I have a computed called has token. And let's see if I have my token here. So has token. I have my token, so I should be connected. And let's remove. I don't have my token. So great. What I want to do is first, I want to fetch the user when I have the token. But for this, I want to make sure to set the user globally. So I'm using useState. I'm defining the key user, and the default value will be null. And if I have a token, well, soon we may not have to use .value since we will be able to use $ref, but so far it's not that bad to use. Then I can say user.value equal, and now I need to do a fetch to the GitHub API. So I can do await $fetch, and hopefully I also did a helper that will automatically join the path to the default API. So let's get this join API URL. I want to get the URL of the user params. I need to set up the headers to make an authenticated request. So I also made a headers method that will return this object, headers. And let's see what we got so far. I do have my user, and I do have it from SSL if I'm checking this Nuxt.state.user. Cool. Demo done. Thank you. Okay, now what I want to do is to display my user once he's connected, being able to log out. So I created a user component, which is nicer than if I do it right now. So if I have a user, otherwise, as you can see, I'm inside app.view. So this file is the main app. I'm not even using pages, so view router is not included. I'm just making a Vue 3 app with server-side rendering using Vite in the background. My user component, same, it's mostly for styling. I define my user prop. I'm checking the logout method from use Github, and I'm displaying the user information. Let's take a look at the logout. So the logout is making an API call again, because in order to remove the cookie with the HTTP only, we need to go back to the server. So let's create this logout. Logout endpoint. I need to check set cookie from H3. I'm exporting a default function, and I'm setting the cookie to empty. And let's copy paste the same params that we have here. As you can see, I don't mind that much about this typing error. We have time to fix it later on. I mean, after the talk. And return true, because we want to return that it's not only a middleware. Otherwise, Nuxt will handle this rendering. Let's check out the code. So we do have a cookie, GitHub token, and if I log out, I don't have, the token is empty now, and he made the request. And he also refreshed the page because I'm too lazy to make a observer for the user so far. So resetting the token and reloading the page. And well, we have authentication, secure authentication with GitHub. But it is not going to help you guys to interact or send message to me. So what I want to do is be able to list the issues from this repo. Some people already created issues there, and I want to list them. So I'm going to be in app.view, remove this, and I want to display the message only if I'm connected. I'm going to create a message.view component with a script setup. So let's get our API URL headers from use GitHub composable. And what I want to do is to fetch my issues. What is nice in Nuxt 3 is you don't have to be in a page in order to be able to fetch data. So because we use suspense under the hood. So let's get the documentation on Nuxt 3, data fetching, and I want to use fetch. For that, I can see that it returns data pending a refresh method or an error. So I know I will have data here that I'm going to call issues, and I will await directly use fetch API URL, and I want to get the issues of my repo. So repos @Linux discuss issues. I want to be able to give the headers to have an authenticated request, and let's see what I got. Issues. Let's save here and refresh. Okay, it worked first time. I can list my issues now. What I want to do though is I want to make sure only the open issue will be listed. In case of I got spam and I want to close the issue or lock it, transform, I would get my issues here. And I want to filter exactly exactly like this. Thank you again, GitHub Copilot. And for the template, I'm a bit lazy here. I will copy paste what I've done. Linking to the issue, so looping over them. This having a link to the issue title, the user that posted, and I'm using use time ago, which is from VueUse. And in order to use the component inside, I need to import it. So VueUse components. And that is interesting, what we got here. Let's restart the server. In case of you're wondering, sometimes during the beta, you may need to restart the server. Don't be afraid. Okay, we do have the issues now. I want the ability to add an issue. So to do this, I'm going to create another component called new message. Before saving, let's make sure to have this new component. So let's have a script set up. I will need a title. I will need to know if it's actually sending. By default, it's false. And I will need a post issue method that is an async function. And I need here to call GitHub. So what I can do, which is most basic, is I'm setting the value to true, I'm setting the value to false. When it's good, I'm setting the title to empty. And if I'm already sending, or that you're trying to send an empty title only with base, I'm just ignoring the request. And let's say call GitHub with the title. And on the template part, same here, copy paste. I have a title. This is not the correct one. New message, I'm using a form with the title. And add it here. Okay, new message. Hey guys. Call GitHub. Hey guys. Okay. So far, not so many bugs. So in order to call GitHub, I can use again my API URL headers to make authenticated requests. Of course, you can refactor it to only have one function, but I'm busy today. Use GitHub. We will await, make a fetch call using API URL. It will be the same, but with a post request. Thanks, CRUD. RESTful API, I mean. So the method is post, and the headers will be the authenticated headers, and we need to send the body. We don't need to stringify since $fetch will do it for us. If we give a body, we'll automatically send the correct headers. And that should be it. Let's refresh. Okay, I see some of you guys. I see you, Alex. I see you. Enter. API, oops, URL, sorry. See you. Okay, we got the post, and if I refresh, I can have my issue. Let's make it real time. So for this, I'm going to go back on my message component. I want to watch the events directly once iterated to update the issues based on the GitHub hooks. So on mounted, I will listen. So I will create an event source using new event source. And I want to get these issues SSC URL that I have in .env, but in order to get it, I can say const equal use runtime config to refresh. It's here, runtime config issue, so I can get it back here. and event source. Add event listener. I call it issues. Let's check. Let's call it issues. Yes. And I get this event. And if I want to get the issue, I need to JSON.parse event.data. And based on this, I will need to have some condition because I have the list of issues. But I won't lose to so much time here. Let's just take what I've done. And so I'm setting the date once it's hydrated, and I will look at the new event. If I have events that are before the fetch, I will ignore them. If the issue becomes closed, I will remove it from the list. And if the issue already exists, I will update the title. Otherwise, I will pop it to the top. And let's see. If I close this issue, it disappears. If I edit this issue, it will update. But it looks like I got a demo working. I actually set up the deployment on Vercel. It could also work on Netlify, Cloudflare Workers, and any deployment target we support for Nuxt 3. So let's just push to the main branch. And let's see what happens. I already set up the correct environment to use my other OAuth application that will use the correct URL. So far, if you go to discuss.atinuxt.com, which is, can I paste it in the chat at the same time? Okay. So far, you will see demo coming soon. Finger crossed. Let's see if it works. Okay. It's ready. You should be able to log in. No, my bad. That's not the good one. You should be able to log in and write your message. And if things goes well, we should have hot module replacement on the page. Damn it, I need to check the code. Oh, I know. I didn't set the correct env on Vercel since I changed it. Ooh, you environment. I'm wondering if I have to deploy though. Seems the same. Well, that's it. If you want to leave me a message, by the way, it's also my birthday. So that's it. That's a simple demo using Nuxt 3. Let's go back to the slides. So this is done. You can check out the code on @linux/discuss. I'm Sebastien Chopin. I'm the co-founder of Nuxt and also the CEO at Nuxt Labs. We are working a lot on the open source, helping the framework team, and also developing a new solution, which is content first, based on Markdown, which is called Docus. You can find me on the social network with @linux. You can leave me a message on discuss.atinuxt.com. I would like to thank all the community, from the Vue community to Evan, to the Nuxt community, and people trying the framework and helping us improving it and reporting bugs, or also participating in the discussions. If you go to the discussions tab on our framework repo, you will be able to see the RFC or participate in any of the decisions we do. And thank you very much for your time.
That was so cool. Did you send a message?
No, I didn't.
Were you not even watching? Come on, I sent a message. That was cool. Well done, Sebastien. That was incredible. I was like, oh my God, that was like one of the best live demos ever. Well done.
Thank you, Debbie.
And I think Copilot did most of the work, right? You didn't do any coding. It was all Copilot.
Exactly. I trained 3 times, so he knew already what to do.
It's well trained. Copilot is trained on Nuxt code. I love it.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And again, that was a fantastic talk, Sebastien. You know, I have to say this because I actually smiled and I actually laughed even harder after when I read this comment. Someone described you as a young Steve Jobs, you know, with the turtleneck.
Yeah, I did on purpose.
That's funny.
I'm super hot right now, but
are you?
It was
Sebastien Jobs.
Sebastien Jobs, yeah.
You know, so no, that's fantastic. And I suppose I don't know if you have anything to say because I know we want to keep somewhat of a schedule.
Yeah, we are going to send them off to a session. So anyone who does have questions for you, they can join you in the session and they can ask anything they want. But I know the Nuxt team have been in the chat as well. They've been like all answering every question along, so they've been doing a great job.
Oh, I guess maybe there won't be a session then.
No, there will be because everyone loves Sebastien, so they're all going to want to see him, right?
Okay, awesome. That's fantastic. I mean, you know, I think we're ahead of schedule by a second.
No, we're like bang on.
Bang on?
Yeah,
okay,
like
cool.
bang on.
I mean, I'm gonna send. We're gonna send you off then. Not keep you too long. I know that it's probably like late afternoon in France right now. Is that it?
4:30 p.m. It's fine. Breakfast time.
Breakfast.
Oh, exactly.
No, not breakfast, but I don't know how to say in English.
You know, I know the French love their café, so
Yeah.
you know, I don't want to keep you, you know, from enjoying that during your session.
Yeah, I will have a cafe and cigarette.
Yeah, that's very French.
Exactly. A very French. That's a French snack.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. So what we're going to do is, first of all, can we get some emoji claps for Sebastien, please? That was a fantastic talk. And if you do want to expand and have some other discussions with Sebastien, you can do that over in the Sessions tab, once again, on the left, and he'll be able to expand on whatever else that you may want to ask of the good man. And I believe you're going to be in fantastic company with, I think it's Tim.
Tim's going to be in the house. So yeah, Tim Bennix is going to look after you.
I mean, I haven't seen Tim yet, so shout outs to Tim. Thank you very much for hanging out with us today. So Sebastien, thank you. Merci, should I say. And we'll catch up real soon.
Merci.
Merci.
Au revoir.
Thank you.